Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of Not the Girl Next Door. I'm your host, Meg Reynolds, and we've got our first guest of the season. You probably like him better for his dog, but all we could get was the human here with us today. We've got Evan Cooper with us in the studio, here to talk all about his journey of moving to Charleston and finding himself, and we're just going to get to know him a little bit better. So, Evan, thank you so much for joining me, and I'm so sorry Rocco was mauling you right now.
We were talking about before, it makes sense that, like, Rocco would be the main star of this. Like, having a dog be the main character in this, it makes sense.
I think Vader's good. He kind of looks like a mini Vader.
I see it, yeah.
People will stop me and ask, is that a German Shepherd puppy? And I'm like, nope, that's just a rat.
I think he's handsome.
He's a handsome boy.
You gonna stay here the whole show?
Oh.
Thank you.
This is not that kind of show, Rocco.
Thank you.
But yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad we were able to catch you when you're back in Nashville. You're just here for the holidays, I'm assuming.
I am. Nashville is my home. I'm staying with my, here, I'll put you right there, buddy.
Sit.
I'm staying with my sister and then my mama's house back in Clarksville, like 45 minutes northwest of here. So yeah, I'm home for the holidays. And then as soon as we finish this, I'm going back to Charleston. So,
oh boy.
Yeah.
So this is a nice little pit stop on your journey. Wait, so where's Vader? Is he at your sister's house?
Or yes, why did I have to think about it? Vader.
He's just tearing up your car in the parking lot
Vader,
right now.
And he would do that. No, it's too cold for that. Vader is at my sister's house, and I'm just praying he does not dig any more holes. And like, he's a lot, but I'm just praying he doesn't dig any more holes in their backyard.
Oh, no.
Where's the camera? Right, like,
right there. That's the camera.
Okay, how often should I look in the camera? Is this going to be on? I don't know what's going to be cut and what's not. Also, can I just say something real quick?
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not diagnosed with ADHD, so I feel like I can't say I have it, honestly. But I'm going to.
You give ADHD, I will say.
It's a mixture. I'm like really nervous and excited. So I'm going to say something. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have said that.
No, but we hope Vader does not dig any more holes. But so obviously, like you said, you're going back to Charleston and you moved there how long ago? You said about a year now?
It's been about a year and a half, and it's gone by so fast.
It goes by so quick. That's how I feel about having moved to Nashville. And you, like me, you moved there without knowing a single person. So why Charleston?
So good question. I graduated from University of Tennessee, and
go Vols.
I'm not a Tennessee fan, so I feel like I know it's very weird. I wanted to say it. I want us to have a moment to bond, but I'm not a Vols fan.
I'm a Syracuse fan. I was just trying to
to
get on the bandwagon.
No.
Syracuse is the correct orange, but anyways.
I'm not going to disagree with you. You can have that. But I graduated from Tennessee, and then I moved back in with my mama back in Clarksville. So I'll move this closer. I moved back in to Clarksville with my mama, and for about a year, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Did some like entrepreneurial thing that didn't work out, and then got like some boring sales job selling OSHA posters. Literally the most boring thing in the world. And it got to a point where my mom was like, go be an adult. I wanted to go be an adult. And I knew I wanted to stay in the South. I knew I wanted to be out of Tennessee because Tennessee is my home. I'm really comfortable here, and I wanted to grow as a human. And then, so I knew I wanted to stay in the South, and I visited Charleston. And I was working from home at that time, and I was like, I cannot believe people get to live here. I was like, wait. I was like, I'll just move here. And so visited there, and then I ended up moving there 2 months later. I wanted to stay in the South, wanted to be by the water, far enough away from home to where it felt like a big change. Like I felt like if I was too close, I wouldn't have grown as much as I've had. And so Charleston I've never once, when I moved there, never once have I regretted it or wish I would have picked a different city. Charleston has just been
a good
it's been amazing for me, and I love it so much. So when I think of home, I think of Tennessee as a whole. And then also Charleston. It's like a weird dynamic, but I love it so much.
You and I were talking about this before too, how for me, like, Nashville's home now and New York doesn't quite feel like home anymore. Like I kind of feel like a stranger when I go back there. Do you kind of feel that way sometimes when you come back home, or?
No, well, I really don't. Like so there's a lot of videos of Blackout Wednesday. Do you know what that is?
Yes,
so I don't
know what Blackout Wednesday.
So I didn't get blacked out on Wednesday.
Unfortunately, I know what Blackout Wednesday is.
So I did not get blacked out. I barely drank, honestly. But I saw so many videos of people being like, I have to go back to my hometown. I have to run into people from high school. Like, I was so excited. I have the time of my life coming back home. I see my childhood friends, my friends from high school. So, but no, when I'm in Tennessee, I feel like I'm in my natural habitat. Is that weird? I don't know if that's weird to say, but I just I love it here so much.
It makes sense why you say you want to move back here eventually. Like it's Tennessee always will have your heart.
Yeah, I'm annoyingly proud to be from here. I know,
but
I'm
not
very
a
annoying.
Vols fan apparently.
Not a Vols fan, and it's a
that
sensitive
seems
subject.
like a sin. Honestly,
It really is, and it's hard to like explain to people how I'm an Alabama fan, which just makes it so much worse. I know people.
I feel like I've just uncovered like a deep dark
No,
secret.
but like I'm loud and proud about it too, and
I'm gonna get a text later. Please cut that so I don't get canceled.
Yeah, I'm an Alabama fan, but when I explain that to people, the reason why people are like, that doesn't make sense. You went there. I have like diploma from there. But no, I'm an Alabama fan and not a Tennessee fan.
So you're a traitor.
I am a traitor. Yes.
Traitor to your own kind.
I did. I am a traitor.
That's hilarious. But so since you moved to Charleston, obviously we're talking about you do influencing, sorry to say, influencing full time now, or marketing as you call it.
Yeah.
You call it marketing. So you do marketing full time.
I don't like that word. I don't. It's what I am, but I just don't like that word.
Wear it with pride. Wear the badge of honor. He's like cringing.
Yeah.
But so you do this full time. Talk to me about the process of you getting started creating videos. Like, did you set out to do this full time? Like, how did this journey start for you? Because I think I've honestly followed you probably since like Vader was a puppy. Mm-hmm. Like you had just gotten him. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is the cutest freaking video ever. So I followed you and it's been so incredible to like watch your journey grow, watch him grow up, like, and just kind of see you really blossom as a person. Like, just from the start to now, like I can see how much more comfortable you are on camera too.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that, seriously. But so I moved to Charleston in April of 2023. And for a long time before April of 2023, I wanted to post on social media. I wanted to have my own personal brand. I had these big, like audacious goals, but I was so riddled with like fear and like what people in my hometown were going to think of me and like my friends, like, oh, look, Evan's trying to be an influencer.
Yeah.
And so I waited till I moved to Charleston. I started posting. I posted the day I moved to Charleston. I posted the next 100 days. And it's just, I hope people don't scroll my TikTok. Some of the worst videos. I mean, they're horrible. No idea what I was doing. But when I posted in April 2023, I told myself in 1 year, in April of 2024, I will be like a full-time creator or influencer, whatever word you want to use. But I told myself in 1 year, this will be my job. And so posting April 2023 and just like day in and day out, and I really had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
The videos are very evident. I had no idea what I was doing. But after like 9 months of just like relentless, like learning and studying and trying new things and getting comfortable talking to the camera and like really trying to figure out what my niche was. In December, after like 9-ish months, I was at like 6,000 TikTok followers, which is, you know, not a bad amount, but not nearly I wanted to be for it to be my full-time job. So I came back home for the holidays and I like sat and I like did a deep dive on my post and I like really thought about, okay, which of these hundreds of TikToks like did better? Which ones have like 10 comments compared to the ones that have like 1 or 2? And every single one that I found out was it always had something to do with being alone, living alone. And the more vulnerable I was, people tend to resonate with that. Even if like the hook was bad or if I was just yapping to the camera, those tended to do better. And so I was like, okay. And then I moved back, or I went back to Charleston in January. And I was like, okay, I do stuff by myself all the time. I was like, let me just show a video of me doing that, talking to the camera. So I went to the movies by myself, which I did all the time. And I saw Migration. And I was just like, I'm Evan, I live in my 20s. I live in my 20s. I'm Evan, I'm in my 20s. I live alone. I'm going to the movies by myself. And I did it, and the video did extremely well. And I was like, okay. And I had my light bulb moment, like, okay, this is my thing. And so I said, okay, I'll just start showing me doing stuff all the time by myself, which I still do all the time. I did all the time, and I'll just start, like, I guess, vlogging it. And then I did that for about 3 or 4 weeks, and the page had jumped up a lot. And I was like, oh, my goodness, this is my thing. And then I got Vader. And so it was like a perfect combination of, like, I found out my niche, and then
Sweet
I got
little crazy boy.
Yes, and then I got my sweet boy, and it was just a mixture of like found out my niche and got Vader at the same time, and it's just like it just took off from there. So
I think I found you like it was like when you were bringing Vader home. It was like the first video. He's so sweet. You know, he looks crazy.
He is crazy, and he is a sweet dog, but oh my goodness, he's about to get his balls chopped off. Like
Does he not have them yet?
No. Around for Germans, you'd wait till they're a little over a year, but he is just like. Oh my gosh.
You're like, get these.
Yeah, he is a psychopath. And like, I don't even know if my videos do justice. That dude has so much energy. It's insane. And there's no off switch. Like, we'll go and we'll film for like 3, 4, 5 hours a day. And we'll be at the beach, or like, we like going to this mini horse farm, or we'll go literally anywhere and play. And when we get home, I'm exhausted. And if I have a dog with me, like Turkey, Elle, or Chloe, they're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
But Vader, like, we get home and he grabs his toy and like throws it at my feet. I'm like, dude.
That's how
that
this
Rocco?
one is. Yes. Like, I remember when he was a baby, I would take him on like a 2-mile walk.
Mhm.
I would give him like the little puppy puzzles. That bitch is still like nipping at me. I'm like, come on, just lay down and nap. Now he's a sleepy boy half the time.
Sweet boy. How old is he?
He's 4 now.
Okay.
He's getting to be a little old man, but he's still crazy.
He's still kicking.
He's still crazy boy. That's like my little adventure buddy. I love him.
Rocco?
Yeah. I wish I could bring him on tour with me, but no. If it was my tour bus, he would be on the bus. I have pushed the
limits of where I can bring Vader. And we've been told that you can't bring him here, but
I mean, he comes on the plane with me.
really?
He sleeps.
Is he a service dog or like a...
He's an ESA, but he also he goes in his little carrier and he just sleeps.
That's sweet. Vader would not do that.
Yeah, Vader would chew the plane.
He would chew
a hole in the plane and like...
Yes, he would. And
that's like not funny. I really shouldn't joke about that.
Yeah, probably not. But
I mean, I survived a tour bus fire, so I can joke about whatever.
Have you talked about it before on a...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
People know about it. I mean, we had to make an announcement because we had to cancel all the shows that weekend.
Right.
Yeah, that was really...
I'm trying not to laugh. That's not funny.
Like
I'm
really,
so sorry.
But it sounds like a bad excuse of like, I can't come do the shoot.
Yeah, like
my gear burned in a fire. It sounds like the dog ate my homework excuse. I love to make that joke. But I mean, look, it's trauma bonding. We all camp trauma bonded. What can we say? But back to you. Obviously, we're not talking about me and my trauma. We're not talking about your trauma either. But since you moved to Charleston, you talked a lot about being alone and just, I think that's a feeling, probably why your content has taken off, is so many people in their 20s feel like that. You know what I mean? Of like trying to find themselves, especially if they've moved away from home, and like find their adult friends. Like making friends as an adult is really fucking hard.
It is.
But I think something that I've kind of found a lot of comfort in is I think you're supposed to feel a little bit lost in your 20s. I think that means you're doing something right, because it's like the first time in our lives when, you know, we're not all on the same playing field. You know, it's not that everyone's on the same playing field, but like in high school or middle school, you're all going to the same classes. Maybe you're doing some sports, same with college, like everyone's studying for a specific thing, and like your goals are laid out for you. Like in your 20s, it's kind of the first time that you have to make those choices on your own. And I think feeling lost is probably a sign you are doing something right. I don't know if you feel like that too, but.
No, I agree. When I was around 19, 20 years old, it's kind of like a cheesy, like a lot of guys have heard this, but there's a saying where like, no one's coming to save you. And I don't know.
I've heard that before, yeah.
And like, for whatever reason, when I was like 19, 20 years old, it really hit me. Like, I'm a mama's boy through and through. And around 19 years old, the like saddest time of my life, I was sitting there. I didn't have some big aha moment, but it was like 3 a.m. I was playing Fortnite. Like,
classic.
I loved it. I don't play anymore. But I just remember sitting there like feeling like a loser. And I remember thinking like, no one is coming to save me. I'm extremely lost. I have no idea what I want to do with my life. I hated the school I was at the time. And I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And what I thought was, and what I try to do best in my videos, it seemed like everybody and their mama had life figured out except me. And I don't do the best job of showing like the real vulnerable, like, I guess bad parts of my life, to where like I'm a real human. Like I cry often, like I hurt often, I get lonely often. And it felt like if I didn't really have friends where I was living at the time, so I didn't see that. The only thing I saw was social media. Everybody was smiling and happy, and everybody else seemed to have friends. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? And then it spiraled and made it so much worse. And so I always try to do the best of my videos to make at least one person feel seen or heard or inspired, just because I know that feeling so deeply of being lost and being like, looking yourself in the mirror, like, I don't like the person I see, and I don't even recognize him, and I don't like him. And so I don't even know that answered your question.
No, it did, but it's honestly, I think it's so beautiful to hear that coming from a man, because I think, you know, there is that stigma of men need to be hard. They should not show emotion. They can't be vulnerable. And like, obviously, I think social media, I think everybody knows it's a highlight reel, but doesn't understand it's a highlight reel. And so people still are internalizing what they see on social media. And, you know, this is why I started the podcast, is because I was that person for so long where I was doing everything I could in my power to make other people happy, to make other people like me, you know, trying to change my appearance and doing all these things. But at the end of the day, none of it mattered because I didn't like myself. And that's what shines through, is like, if you do not like yourself, nothing, no amount of, you know, from a woman's perspective, no amount of cosmetic procedures, no amount of weight loss, no amount of like having designer or whatever is going to change that, or like give you that quote unquote status that you're seeking. It's going to just, it doesn't matter as long as what you feel in here is empty. And so it's nice to hear that coming from a man too, who's also in his 20s, because it's, again, we're all on the same fucking level and the same fucking page here. Like, it's just, life is hard.
I did. And I bring up my mom almost every conversation, but I am, and my older sister, I'm extremely blessed to be, spent a lot of my childhood with just them two. And like I said, I'm extremely blessed and spoiled. Like, I saw them communicate their feelings, and I never really knew any different that a man shouldn't communicate their feelings well. And I get it, like the red pill alpha, like, you know what I'm talking about, like gotta be hard at all times. I just don't.
Do I know? Okay. Do I know?
I've never gotten that. But yeah, I don't want to say never, but there's times where like try to act hard, try to like put on a facade of confidence of like, this is who I am. But no, I've very seldomly have I been not able to communicate if I'm feeling down or sad. And I think, and I try to bring it to my videos, I call it admitted amateurism, or like admitted feelings of like loss or confusion, or really human elements. Like, it brings a lot of trust with somebody. Like, if I was to sit here and be like, I am happy all the time, you'd be like, okay, buddy.
I would literally be like, you're fucking bullshitting me.
Yes, exactly. But if I sit here and like, I cried in the parking lot on the way here, which I didn't.
I didn't. No. I was like, please tell me I didn't make you that nervous.
No, like, turn the camera off. I was that nervous. No. I am, my heart rate is still up and going. I thought it would slow down by now, but it's not. But it's fine. It's whatever. But saying that, like, it establishes trust and credibility. And so I always try to bring that to my videos to, one, continue to establish that trust with my audience. And then two, again, I'll say it all the time, like, I really want people to feel seen and heard by my content. And I try to do that in like face-to-face interactions too. And when people come up and say something, or strangers or anybody, I want, like as humans, I'm going down a rabbit hole, just rock with me. But as humans, like, no matter what you look like, your ethnicity, religion, like whatever you believe in, like at our basic core, we want to be heard and seen. And so, especially, and I didn't think I would have this, but because the page has grown so much, I almost feel like I have this responsibility to really put out that message, like, social media isn't real. Like, even in my videos where I'm being vulnerable, I'm still holding back information of like, you know.
Right, you're not telling the full story, because there are certain things that are just for you.
Right, absolutely. There is boundaries with social media, and boundaries, like, the world doesn't even know 100% of who I am. Like, my life being as public as it is, I do want some stuff to myself and, you know, hopefully my future spouse. And so, but for the most part, I really want people to feel seen and heard. And I feel this weird responsibility to like push that, where like social media isn't real. And like, I struggle just as much as everybody else. And I've even had comments on some of my recent videos. My most recent video at the time is I'm back home, and I just show like a highlight of me being back home, playing with my nephews, my little cousin, like seeing my hometown friends. And a lot of comments are like, I wish I had your life. And I don't have the liberty to say, because I don't know their lives, but there's so much that went on in that day and on a daily basis within my family and like everything, where it's like, you don't even know like 10% of it. And so like, I just feel this responsibility to like really share that.
No, that makes perfect sense. I think especially around the holidays, like,
especially
it's a
around
very
the holidays.
Emotional time. Like, I know for me, that's where I struggle. Like, I see on TikTok, like, girls my age doing things with their dads. And like, I'm like, I still grieve that relationship that, you know, don't get me wrong, my dad and I, we're in a much better place than we ever were. But it's still a grief thing, because I'm like, my relationship is never going to be that. It's never going to be what I want or deserve. And like, that's really hard. But then I know there's some people who probably look at me and the relationship I have with my mom and my aunt, And they're envious of
Absolutely.
that because, I mean, I just had my mom and my aunt here for almost a week. Love them so much. By the time they were leaving, I was like, please get the fuck out. Love you guys. Like literally, I have a picture of me and my mom. And she's holding the middle finger. Like, she's a cool, badass mom. Like my mom is
I love it.
the most wonderful. Like, she has so much love to give, and I think that's why I have such a big heart. Is she taught me like to wear my heart on my sleeve and not apologize for it. And I'm sure he's so sleepy.
I know.
But I'm sure some people look at that relationship and are envious of that because maybe they lost their moms or they don't. You just never know where somebody's pain comes from. And I think it's so important, like you said, to remember, like, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like,
Absolutely.
you don't know, like, the struggles me and my mom, like, have been through over the years that have brought us this close together and, like, the healing that we've had to come through from the divorce and my dad leaving. And like you said, like, there's a lot of things about what happened in my family that I will never share because it's not my story to tell, it's hers. And so I would never want to share those things because it's, as much as it impacts me, it's a big piece of her story, and that's not for me to share. But I'll keep everybody's secrets but my own. That's what I always say.
Good. That's good. I like it. Does the relationship with your mama and the relationship with your dad, you said it's gotten better?
Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
I was gonna say, does it I don't know if inspires the right word, but does it make you, I don't know if you want to become a mother one day, but if you do want to, does it make you want to become the best mother possible? Like, having that hurt and harm, you've seen the negative sides of parenting.
So obviously, being 26, motherhood is something. So my mom had me when she was 26.
Okay.
And so she loves to remind me of that fact. I'm like, you are.
She's like, get on.
I'm like, you're not getting the crotch goblin anytime soon. I was like, I got to find a man first. But I go back and forth on the kids thing. Something I always say is, like, it's not that I'm unsure if I want to be a mother. It's that I don't want to have a kid to just have a kid, because I'm a child of a parent who never wanted kids and who regrets having kids. He won't say that part out loud, but it's the unspoken piece. And that is something I carry with me, as much as I know I am loved, to know that I was not, you know what I mean? Like,
it's tough.
It's tough. And so I never want my child to feel like a burden because and I want to show my child, like, you can have it all. Like, I can build this company. I can do all these wonderful things and still be the best mom I can. So something for me that I'm really committed to in dating has been a big piece of this podcast and everything is, like, I want to find a man who wants to be a husband and father, not a man who just wants a wife and kids, because there is a difference. And I think finding men who understand that difference is really hard to do, because, you know, it's so easy to be like, yeah, I want kids. Why do you want kids? You know, what kind of father do you want to be? Like, are you going to, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
I don't want to be begging my partner, you know, the weaponized incompetence thing. Like, I don't want to be telling my partner how to feed my child.
You have been in therapy. That's
I hope therapy works.
You have been in therapy.
That shit's expensive.
It's working. I see it. It's working. I see it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm supposed to. I'm sorry that happened to you, but also, like, I think about people very close to my life. As a woman, your first love, your superhero, is your dad. And the fact that he hasn't said it, but that he didn't want you, yeah, I can see why. That would be so I don't get it completely because I'm not a woman, but I do understand, like, that's got to be tough. Like, your dad is your superhero.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, he is. He's, like, for all the negativity, it's a miracle my father is not worse of a human. Like, he's also got his own, you know, trauma. And I think a big piece of my journey has been breaking that generational trauma. And I don't know if that's a piece for you. He's like, yeah.
It is.
I think as children who come from generational trauma, like, we see it so much more. And, like, I feel like that's probably why we're committed to also these independence journeys and finding ourselves, because I think a lot of these issues stem from the fact of people don't know themselves, and, like, the times have changed. And, you know, I hate to say it, but it's like, I'm going to sound like a really cynical person here, but, you know, people always say, like, oh, relationships aren't the same as they were in the 50s. I'm like, you do realize you probably had an alcoholic parent and a mom who's probably on drugs or like dosing herself something to numb the pain. They probably didn't actually love each other. She only stayed out of convenience. You don't know if they were cheating. Like it's so easy to romanticize and idealize these old time relationships when in actuality, a lot of them were abusive and toxic and all the horrible things that we're trying to avoid today. Yeah. So that's my spiel. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I love it. I will say, I don't know enough about the 50s and 60s relationships back then to add to that conversation, but I do know that's a stigma of it. I know there's
Yeah.
a little bit of truth in stereotypes and stigma, but I don't know enough to like.
You're not an expert?
To agree. No,
No,
I'm not.
You're not a historian?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Everything goes for me. I don't have a girlfriend, not even close. And like, but one day, that sounded.
Ladies,
No.
taking applications?
No. Well, no. But the reason I said that was I'm nowhere near having kids.
Yeah.
And
So you're how old? Remind me.
25.
You're 25. Okay.
And so I want to be a father one day, like more than anything. And I want to be a husband. I want to be a father. And I want to be the best of that I can be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think about what can I do now
Mm-hmm.
before I even like have a girlfriend or a wife, or
Yeah.
like what can I do now to make me the best husband and father.
Mhm.
And so you talk about your independence journeys, and I think about, okay, if you had to sculpt the perfect dad, well, we have the perfect dad. And like like I said, as a Christian, I know we talked about earlier, like
Mhm.
my standards of a man comes from what the Bible tells us, and like
Mhm.
a perfect father, we have an example of that. And so I think about what is something that a good father should be. And he should be strong, he should be willing, he should be open to communicate. And so he should have gone through hard times. And so I try to do that now
Mm-hmm.
before I even have a girlfriend,
Yeah.
just to be the best husband and father I can become.
That's exactly how I feel. Like, as much as I've been through at such a young age, I'm honestly so much more thankful for it because it's put me in this position to be strong, and I'm not going through more toxic relationships and tumultuous relationships. And, just I'm in a place of I've healed, and like I know what I want, I know what I don't, I know what I will accept, I know what I won't, like my non-negotiables, all those really important things. And a friend of mine even said that to me too. Like, I had my first panic attack in years a couple weeks ago, and I just was like melting down. I called one of my friends and he talked me off the ledge, and I was like, I'm just so tired of constantly going through things. And like, I was like, I'm just so tired of it. And he was like, I know you are. He was like, but just think, he was like, this is going to make you a better wife, mother one day. Like, he was like, you're going to be the best person possible for the people in your life because you're going through these things. Like, I hold that conversation so dear to my heart because like,
That's sweet.
that's what I hold on to, is like the reminder there is a purpose going through all these things. And I think, that's also a piece of my faith journey too, is like, why the fuck is God putting me through so much shit? Like, if he's so great, why is he traumatizing me? And, having to come to that understanding of, but it's making me who I was always meant to be. That's been a lot to come to terms with too.
No, I get it. And it's one thing to say it, like it's making you a better person. But when you're like going through the fire or the storm,
I don't want to hear that.
Yes. I've also had to learn, speaking to my friends, and like sometimes, like one of my friends, Kevin, we talk about when we're griping with each other, we always say like, is this a listen call or is this a advice call? We
I do the same thing with my best friends because, I'm from New York. I can be very blunt and very harsh, and I have a lot of opinions, and I've gotten the habit of doing that with my best friend. I'm like, do you want my advice or do you just want me to listen? I do the same thing with her.
Yeah, we have both learned. I'll do a couple of my friends, but yeah, that's something I've learned with not just my friends, with people. Like, do you want advice or you just want me to listen? Most of the time, people just want someone to listen to. It goes back to people want to feel seen and heard. And so that's
same page. Have you been to therapy?
I have been to plenty of therapy. I have.
So with your journey of independence, you've done a lot of different activities. Like, what do you think is like one of the biggest things you've learned about yourself on like in this journey, in this past year and a half of living on your own?
I would say I found out really who I am, who Evan is. And when I look back at like 24, 23, 22-year-old Evan, I think he's so stupid. And I know when I'm 28, 29, I'm gonna look back at 25-year-old Evan and think I'm just stupid.
Not to interrupt, I literally just said that in the season finale episode. I was like, 23-year-old Meg, she didn't know shit. 26-year-old Meg, I feel like I know shit. But I'm sure 29-year-old Meg is going to say that 26-year-old Meg didn't know shit.
Exactly. So the reason I say that is this is just where my headspace is at now. And I just hope I don't watch this back and cringe at everything I said.
You probably will.
I'm not going to listen to it.
No, you have to listen to it because I can't release it if you don't listen.
Okay. All right, fine. Okay.
Make Vader listen.
I will make Vader listen to it. That's what I'll do. But the reason I said that is I thought I knew who Evan was when I moved to Charleston. And then time and time again, I was like, oh, I really don't know who I am. So trying these new things on my own. What was your question? I can't remember anything.
It was, what's like the biggest thing you've learned about yourself?
Great question. That's honestly one of my favorite questions to ask is, what did you just say? Because sometimes I talk And I don't know where the sentence is going. It's just like, it's a surprise to everybody, even me, where it's going. But what was I talking about? Okay.
You didn't know yourself when you moved to Charleston.
I did not know myself when I moved to Charleston, but
I feel like I need little cue cards for you over
that would be
here.
fantastic. And like, this is like a lot of people, I'm trying to stay on subject as best as I can, but I'm getting comfortable. My heart rate is slowed down now.
Okay, I love that. I feel like you need like the Oura ring on you right now, or like an Apple Watch or something.
That's what we do. No, well, we'll put a pin in that. But what was I talking about?
You didn't know yourself when you moved to Charleston.
Oh, and then I was going to say, my videos are very chaotic, which is one of the best compliments people could give me.
They are very chaotic.
Because I'm very chaotic, and like my brain is all over the place. And so I want my videos to be the best representation of who I am. And so when my videos are chaotic, I did my job because I am very chaotic. And I feel like I'm doing a great job reeling it in.
You're doing a great.
I needed that validation. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But I would say it's cheesy, but I found out who I really was by trying new things. And then when I was 19 and 20, I went through like levels of loneliness that, and I was also alone. Like I didn't have too many friends at the second school I went to at MTSU, and I felt levels of loneliness I didn't know you could feel. Like I would go, this is an exaggeration, I would go days without speaking because I didn't talk to people. I would go days without like seeing people. I would just like stay in my little hole, and I just felt levels of loneliness that just like I never thought I would feel again. When I moved to Charleston, I was in a much better morale and mood, and so I felt those levels of loneliness again, but it wasn't a sad thing.
It was
like
more of an excitement.
Yeah, it was like because you can't hide from yourself when you're living alone. And oftentimes I would, turn my PS5 off when I had it. I would unplug everything, and I would just sit with myself, and I would think about like who I am, and I would try to talk to the Lord. And I would say moving to Charleston, being away from my hometown, I really had to find out who I am. And I'd said I was never going to share this because it makes me sound, I don't know, I think it's kind of weird to say it out loud. So on my 25th birthday, the clock hit midnight. This is going to sound weird, but like, this is going to sound weird. But I looked in the mirror in my own eyes for about 5 minutes. And I was just looking at myself. And I'd been in Charleston about 9 months. And I started tearing up. And I was like, why am I tearing up? Because I was like really sitting with who I am. And I started tearing up a little bit because I was like, regardless of the stuff I'd accomplished at that point, I was like, I'm a good person. Like I was like, I was really thinking, who is Evan? Like I'm a good person. And I think the mark of a good person is someone that cares about other people. Like I'm not the most important person in the world. I never will be. I just looked and I was like, I'm a good person. I care about other people. I want people to feel respected and like I said, heard and seen. And I was like, okay, like I don't want to get too into it, but I was like, I'm not someone that I'm not my father, but I don't want to get into that. But I was like, I'm not my father. And for a long time, that's something I struggled with. And moving to Charleston, I found out who Evan was. And Evan is me, someone who does care about people. And as selfish I am, I'm very selfish with my job. Like being a creator is a very self-seeking job. And it kind of eats at me because I would like to think I'm a selfless person. But being a creator, it's a very like me, like what I'm doing today, what I'm learning today, what Vader and I, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, that's that. Moving to Charleston, I found out who Evan was. And like I said, by the time I'm 28, I'm gonna look back and be like, you didn't know anything. Because I don't know what I'm talking about half the time.
I mean, I'm the same exact way. And similarly, like I said, I just turned 26 like 2 weeks ago now at the time we're recording this.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And what I was doing at midnight is I had a damn face mask on, and I was
what now?
A face mask.
What's a damn face mask?
Just a damn.
Okay.
A damn face mask.
Sorry, I should have been more. My bad. That was not important. I didn't need to interrupt right there. You had
You're ruining the moment.
My bad. This would have been a clip. My bad. All right.
No, it'll be a clip. Don't worry.
Sorry.
Don't you worry.
My bad. All right, go ahead.
I got magic.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay.
I was sitting with a face mask on, and I'm editing the season finale, and I'm reflecting on everything that this past year has been. Because 25, I don't know if you felt like this at 20. When do you turn 26?
In like 6 days.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Well, so similar. If you felt like 25 is like, I can't get over how he's sleeping right now.
Hi, buddy.
The sticks. Like 25 was like a roller coaster year for me. And like, it was very up and down, highs and lows. Like literally, I just feel like my entire world got turned upside down. And I don't know if you feel like that, but apparently that's a common thing for 25. And I was sitting there editing the episode and just like reflecting on everything I've been through this past year, these past few years since living in Nashville. And I was just like I did it. Like I had that moment of like, I'm the person I wished I had for my younger self.
That's sweet.
And like, it's just
That's
such
cool.
like it makes you feel good because you're like, I'm doing something right. Like that's the assurance you need of you're doing something right is when you can actually sit there and say, yeah, I love myself. My life isn't perfect, but I love myself. That's all we can all want for our lives.
That's cool. That's cool. And especially after, well, I guess your audience knows, but after what you just told me about, because we just met, but
yeah,
I can imagine from your point of view, just the lot of lows, the ups and downs, a lot of downs of what you've gone through. And then to be able to look yourself in the mirror and be like, I did what I said I was going to do. And making your 17, 16-year-old self proud or 20, like that's really cool.
It's like really crazy too. Cause I don't know if you feel this way too, is like, cause I mean, we don't have to talk about this, but like I was like very depressed in high school. And like, I looked back last year's anniversary episode. I looked back at like my high school journal and was like reading some of the entries. And I felt so sad for my younger self of like how I felt about myself, but also so disconnected because I can't even imagine feeling those feelings about myself now. Like, I don't know if you feel the same way. Like, it's almost like hard to envision yourself as that person again.
No, it does. But I also, it's a catch-22. It's also a good thing. It shows how much you've grown as a woman.
That's true. That's a good point.
So that is really cool. I have felt that before. Someone made me tear up the other day because someone said, what would you say? Mine was 10, but someone was like, what would you say to a 10-year-old self? And I really thought about it.
I always love asking people what advice they would give to their younger selves because it's, you know, instead of just asking, oh, what advice would you give to somebody else who's on this journey? It's like, what do you wish you had heard when you were in that, you know, frame of mind?
From a life thing or from a business, like career-wise or anything?
Just like, just in general, like what do you think is something that younger Evan needed to hear that he never heard?
Evan needed a hug. Evan needed a hug. So I would just hug him. I like give him a double pat on the chest and be like, keep going. Honestly, sorry, I'm not trying to get like, but.
That's so sad.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I guess if I had to say something, I would really just say keep going because, I don't know, it's just important to any adult to figure life out on your own. And yeah, I would literally give him a hug, pat him on the chest and keep going, then walk away.
That makes me want to give him a hug.
No.
I'm so sad for him.
No, I'm good now. I'm just saying.
You've been to therapy.
Yes, I have plenty. And so that's what I would do. But I do like that question. But someone asked me the other day, and I used the other day loosely. The other day, this could have been months ago, but someone asked me the other day, and I started tearing up because I thought about all the different types of things I would say about this is going to happen, this is going to happen, don't go here, like watch out for this.
Yeah.
Someone such and such is, you know, this stuff is going to happen. And I was like, no, I would just, I just needed a hug.
Needed a hug.
I started tearing up, and I was like,
damn it.
Yeah.
What have you learned about friendship and just relationships in general from this independence journey? Like whether it's what you want out of a relationship, or how to be a better partner, friend, like, you know, what is some of your big takeaways about how to be like there for others?
So this answer is, I'm not going to like the answer I give, but it's the truth. And I want to be always completely honest. With my job as a creator, like I said, it's a very selfish job. And I don't see a lot of people talking about it. It's very me-based, me. Because of that, I am extremely selfish with my time. And so I have found ways I have to find ways to give back to people. Like I'm working with an orphanage this holiday season, and I like try to inspire people to foster dogs. And I got some other cool stuff coming up to like.
I miss turkey.
I also miss turkey, but this comes out in January.
Yeah.
Okay, so turkey will have been readopted at this point. But yeah, I'm getting turkey tomorrow, and I'm very excited to see her again.
I love her.
She's a sweetheart. I do love her. We had a story from Newsweek. I hope it's out by the time this out. But we had a story on Newsweek. Newsweek, which is pretty cool. I was
That
like,
is really cool.
They wanted to do a video or a story on turkey, and I was like, what in the world? So yeah, that's my girl. Her favorite thing in the world is turkey. But the reason I
thought it was Vader.
Vader. Wait, what did I say? I don't know.
You said Turkey's favorite thing was turkey.
Turkey's favorite thing is Vader. That's what I meant. So a little nervous. Turkey's favorite thing in the world is Vader. Being in a selfish job, I have had to learn that if I want to be the great husband and father and friend that I am, that I would like to think I am, that I'm not. I know I'm not, not yet. Then I have to be more selfless with my time. Like too many times, like I have to have the little growth I've had in this year, I've had to sacrifice quite a few things because 99 times out of 100, I will choose like work over like a social event, a friendship, like anything, like sometimes working out or eating. And so like I've had it, like I'm the lightest I've ever been in a long time, which to many would be a good thing. But for me, I'm trying to put on some
Bulk.
weight. Yeah, I'm trying to bulk. And I've also missed out on some friendships and some fun social opportunities just because I've chose work over and over and over again. And so really in the past month, I've learned like, hey, you're not Ev Coop, my Instagram handle. Like you are Evan Cooper. Like your work is not everything. You're more than that. I'm what the Lord calls me, a son of God. And I think about Jesus didn't work all the time. Jesus was very intentional with the people he was around. And so that's something I've learned is how selfish I am with my time, and it kind of eats at me. So I'm trying to learn to be more selfless and not let work. As funny as it seems, like just filming myself and editing is work, and some other things I'm working on. I'm excited. Probably that'll come out by the time this is out, but I'm selfish with my time. That's what I've learned, and I don't want to give that answer but it's the truth. Like I am very selfish with my time, and so trying to unlearn that, trying to be better. And what I've learned is it doesn't have to be some big hoopla thing. Like it comes down to little choices I've made. So again, I'll go back home and it'll be a choice of go out with my friends or finish filming or editing or working on some other project. And it chooses, I need to choose to be with my friends because that's what a good friend would do. And like I said, I'm more than just a creator online. Like that's my spiel.
It makes sense, but like also like you're saying the quiet part out loud, and I think a lot of influencers or creators. I'm sorry. I'm gonna title this episode something with influencers.
Please no, please no. I can't stand that. I can't stand. Anyways,
but you're saying the quiet part out loud, and I think a lot of other creators would not want to admit that that about themselves and about this job in general, and that's something I've even had to learn with starting a business and touring. It's my time is very valuable now. And so also being able to be selective of who I give that time to and make sure it's being reciprocated. That's been a big piece of my journey is like making sure I'm investing my time in the people that are going to give it back to me. And that's, thankfully I've found those really good close friends here in Nashville, and that's been a piece of my journey. And I think every other creator can probably relate to that.
So you've had to make the active decision to like put work down to go be a good friend.
Oh yeah. And vice versa. I've had to recognize when I'm like, you know what, I really need to get things done. I'm gonna the FOMO is gonna happen, but that's part of me being a people pleaser is I never want to miss out because I feel, for me, it's been a big fear of being forgotten. Because I feel like for the longest time, I was never anybody's like first choice friend. I was always the floater friend, the friend that sometimes got the invite just last minute because they were forgotten. Like that's how I've felt for a lot of my life. That comes from the people pleaser and all that stuff. And that fear of abandonment, fear of feeling forgotten has led me to just constantly say yes to everything. And don't get me wrong, it's great to like have that say yes mindset and take every opportunity, but it should not come at the cost of like my mental health and like my peace. And for me, I've had to learn sometimes I do need to just rest. And like, that's okay to just sit on my couch on a Friday night and like not be drunk. Because I don't love drinking anymore since being an entrepreneur. Like I talked about this in an episode a couple weeks ago. It's like, I just don't love going out anymore. I don't love drinking anymore because my time is it's so valuable now that I don't want to spend it hungover on the couch.
It's very fair. Very fair. Like you said, time is everything. And if you're drinking too much and then you get hammered and then I see the vision.
I got it out. I got all that energy out of me for my birthday weekend.
I mean, you're good. That's what I went back.
Set.
That's what I'm saying. I went back home, was the most social butterfly ever, and I'm set for the next couple months. Like you're
gonna recharge the battery.
Yes, my social battery is down.
Non-existent.
Yeah, so
mine is non-existent right now.
So I'm good.
Right, Rocco? Are we awake?
Sweet boy.
He's being so good.
He is. Is he usually not good?
He's just a menace and an attention whore, and he needs to let people know he's here. He also has a fear of not being seen and forgotten. Right, buddy?
What does that stem from? Is that an off-camera question? Is that my
No, I can talk about that. I think.
Where do you think it stems from?
Definitely some of the daddy issues.
That would do it.
That'll do it.
I figured that was the answer, probably.
No, but it really, like I said, growing up, I got clinically diagnosed with depression when I was 14 years old, but I hypothesize, fancy word. If I had to guess, like I should have been diagnosed much younger. I think, being an only child, I had a lot of pressure put on me, and I wanted to be this perfect daughter, perfect child, like the girl next door, essentially. And so that, anytime I wasn't chosen by people, I really internalized that and took it to heart, even though a lot of the times now looking back retrospectively, most of the time it had nothing to do with me. It had really nothing to do with the way people thought about me. And then you get to high school and even middle school is when the bullying started and everything. Because I have such a big heart, I think I internalize things a lot more intensely. And just as I got older and every time, it was like almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like every time I wasn't chosen, it was like, see, something's wrong with me. And then finally, when I got to college, I joined a sorority and I did find my people, but there was still drama, of course, classic. But it wasn't really until I moved to Nashville, had some bad friendships when I first moved here, got out of my toxic relationship and went back to therapy and like really sat with these feelings and sat with myself, that I came to the realization of half the time people don't think about you as much as you think they do. They don't it has nothing to do with you. A lot of the times the way people treat you is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of themselves. And that's just been a really big piece of my journey. And like, instead of focusing on the ones that don't choose me, focusing on the people who do choose me and do show up for me, and like reframing my mind in that way. And it's led me to have some much better friendships and like even friendships that have come back into my life. This happened this year. Is a friend of mine, it was actually around this time last year, a girl I was best friends with in college. We were like duo, but it was very clear she was not a good friend to me. Everybody knew it and she knows it.
Did you know it at the time?
I knew it, but I wasn't willing to admit it. And I let her walk all over me. She wouldn't show up for me when I needed her, but I would show up as soon as she needed me. It was one of those. And again, I'm not saying anything she doesn't know. Like when she came back, we stopped speaking for like 2 years. And she reached out to me and she was just like, honestly, she was like, I miss you. I am so sorry for how I treated you. And our friendship has never been as good as it is now. And like,
cool.
it's don't get me wrong, it was so fucking validating to her be like, yeah, I sucked as a friend. Like
after 2 years,
after 2 years.
Oh, that had to feel real good.
It feels so sorry, it sounds so bitchy, but like, and here's the thing is she was harder on herself than I would have ever been on her. Cause I also, again, I had a lot of empathy for her because of the things she had been through in her
That says
life.
a lot about her and her character.
Yes. And I think her boyfriend has been so wonderful, like helped her grow in this way. And I love him and I can't wait for them to like get married and do all the things. But
thank you.
I think recognizing too with this independence journey is like, not letting yourself get too hardened to people and like be too black and white with people, like having the empathy and like allowing people the grace to mess up. Cause you have to give that grace to yourself, but you also have to give it to other people. So,
he's good.
He really wants to make out with you.
He does. He does. You smell Vader. I know he does.
But yeah, that's like kind of been the biggest piece of my feeling forgotten thing. And now when I feel that with friends, I'm able to express that to them. I actually had that with my best friend who I was living with. That was a really big fear of mine is when we moved out, I was like never really going to see her anymore. We weren't going to hang out because she was living with her boyfriend. And you know how easy it is for people to forget their friends when they get in a relationship. And that was a very big fear of mine. And we had a lot of conversations and honestly, I would argue that our friendship is better for those conversations. And we're so intentional about making sure we see each other now. And sometimes all it takes with people is a conversation. So that's like also, I think I got off. I don't know if I answered your question, but.
No, that was really good. I liked it. I do have a lot of thoughts.
This is Evan's podcast now.
No, like one is, I don't talk. As someone whose job is to talk to the camera, I like listening more than talking. But one, I always say in my videos, like no one cares about you as much as you think you do, as no one cares about you as much as you think they do. So like my videos of me doing ballet or Pilates, something I shouldn't be doing. I would say like nobody cares.
I would kill to see you do a body rock class at Nashville.
What is body rock?
It's like a reformer Pilates, but it's like really hard.
I don't want to see Evan do that.
I want to see Evan do body rock.
I don't. The next thing, people keep wanting me to do a pole dancing class. I don't know about that one. That's the one I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. You just like spin around the pole? Is that? I don't know if I can do that. But what I was going to say is, what was I talking about?
Yeah, no, people don't think about you as much as you think they
Yes.
do.
And two, I had a lot of thoughts. I already forgot like all of them. But yeah, you said something like a simple conversation, like a simple phone call. It means a world of a difference. I mean, being away from my hometown, a lot of my friends, I'm not the best at it because I'm very selfish with my time and I'm trying to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But like a simple phone call, like 10, 15 minute phone call, just be like,
It
how are you
means a
doing?
lot.
Oh, it means the world.
It means
And when people do it
so
to me,
much.
it means the world.
Yeah. I'm the same exact way. I would much rather that than us texting every day. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't care about you eating your Cheerios.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
just call me at the end of the week. Let's catch up. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm the same way too. My home friends, the ones that I do are still in my life. Like, I have to be good about that because it's so easy to let weeks go by and you're like, fuck, I haven't called them.
Yep. No, I get it. There's been times where also I'm a horrible texter, someone who's on their phone 24/7. Like I look at my phone, my friends will try to call me or text me like 2 weeks ago, and in my head I responded.
I'm so bad at that now. Yeah. I think it's like as people who work in social media, it's like you just get overstimulated and you're I don't want to answer anybody. I don't want to have a conversation. Like I don't have the brain power for it right now.
I do.
And I tell my friends that I'm like, honestly, I'm so overstimulated. Like I will text you back when I can.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I actually have no excuse because I do need to be better about that. As soon as we finish this, I'm going to call one of my friends who I haven't called in a while. Yeah, I will. I'm going to call one of my friends I haven't called in a while. But
that's your reminder.
It is. Like now I'm thinking about it, and I just thought of 2 more. I was like, I got to call my friends more.
Just call them on your drive back to Charleston.
I will. Yeah.
That's what I do when I drive back to New York is I just like call people. And people will literally be like, are you on your drive back to New York? I'm like,
yeah. You drive to New York?
Yeah.
What is wrong? Sorry, that was aggressive. Sorry, that was aggressive. I didn't finish it. You don't fly? What is wrong with you? Why would you? I'm going to finish it. Yes, you drive to New York?
I drive to not every trip, but like if I'm going home for over a week, I want my car. Fair. Plus, like I have this little nugget.
That's fair.
And flights are expensive.
Okay, sorry, that came off aggressive.
Guys, Evan's actually an asshole.
No,
He's not a nice guy.
I'm not a nice guy, but like the term nice guy.
I think it's actually such a red flag when guys call themselves nice guys.
That's why I was like, you said that. I was like, ooh. Yeah, I didn't like that.
I'm like, I don't even have to explain it to him. He gets it.
I hold the door open for women. Why don't they? Yeah, I don't. I should stop. But yes, I'm not a nice guy. I do know people that self-proclaim nice guy.
It's a red flag.
I'm like, what are we doing?
If I see that on a guy's dating profile, X.
Do guys do that?
Oh yeah. It's really
they put like nice guy in their bio? Or
yeah.
I don't like that.
I think you would be really traumatized if you had to see like my options in Nashville. Is Charleston dating as bad as it is in Nashville?
Dating has been pretty tough for me, honestly. Is
it because you're not a nice guy or
No. Oh my gosh. No, it's so how do I want to say this? So since March, since the page has grown, every woman that I've gone on a date with, or have talked to, all of them, yeah, I think all of them, they have known who I was before we had a conversation, which is fine. Like it's the nature of my job, but it's been challenging because I've run into it somewhere like I found out they're acting a certain way because they think I would act a certain way. Like they had a preconceived notion of who I am just because my life is very public.
Yeah.
So it has been challenging to date because I've been burned by it a couple of times. You're like, is this woman acting this way because she thinks this is how she should act, or is this who she really is? And so,
right. And it's also like, is she here for you, or is it?
And also, yes, that's a very, very good point. Like there's also been times where like, I don't know how to word this. I don't want to put myself on a pedestal because I'm not that. But there's been times where I can tell. I don't know how to word it without sounding like a a-hole, but like I can tell women have gone on dates with me just to say like I don't even like saying that because that makes me feel like I'm just a normal dude, but I can tell and I've been told that's why. So that's been challenging, trying to find a woman's true intentions, but also it's the same with women, like you don't know, it's the same with everybody. You don't really know someone's true intentions, but
and you also don't know them from
right. And they know me, and so it's like a weird dynamic.
But they know you, but like not really. And I think that's what people forget is about with social media, it's a highlight reel and it's not real, all that stuff. Like you don't actually, like, you're in like your favorite creators, I caught myself. Like, you know
You
your favorite creators, but like you don't know them.
Right.
Like, again, looking at your page, people would think that you're just this happy-go-lucky guy in his 20s who's enjoying going to ballet for the first time. Like, they wouldn't know.
And for the most part, I am.
And for the most part, you
Yeah.
are. But like, they don't know they don't know who you were pre-social media. They don't know how you came to be this person. And like, that's a big chunk of your story that whoever, like your future partner, is going to have to get to know and like kind of play catch up a little bit in a sense. And that's like, as much as my life is on this podcast, like any guy I go on a date with can go back and listen to these episodes and think they know me.
Right. That's a scary feeling. For me, I also think about like the dad or the mom, like who's this boy you're dating? And they're like, oh, he's right here. And they can just scroll and scroll and scroll.
Yeah.
So that's been, anytime I post something, I always think about what would it be like for my future kids to see their dad. And I always think about like my future wife or in-laws. I always think about how would they perceive me, or not even how they would perceive me, because I don't post for them. I post for me, honestly. But I guess I do think about how I would be perceived.
Just more of like the impression you're going to get.
Yes. And it's because that's people I truly care about, not strangers, but more of like people that are going to be in my day-to-day life. Like how am I going to be perceived? So that part actually has been pretty challenging when it comes to dating. But and at the same time, I feel like boohoo, people know you. Like, I feel like I don't have a right to complain about it. You know what I mean? Like,
your life is so hard.
Yeah, no, that is not absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying. I can't stand when people. Oh my
people do that.
Yes, like
I get it though. I get what you mean too. It's like something I say is like, I already have so much love for my future husband, so much love for my future kids, my future family who I haven't even met yet. I already love them because of the place that they're going to hold in my life. I don't know their names, but I know I love them. And, you know, I want to be a person today that they can be proud of. That's kind of how I live my life now is, you know, it's something I've like I want to live in the moment and I want to be proud of the person I am, but I also recognize that it's naive to think I'm not also working towards my future. And so I want to still be a person today that they can be proud of. And I'm sure you kind of feel like that too.
It's a very mature thing to say, truly. Like you
Therapy.
want them. Yes. No, it's a very mature thing for you to say. Yeah, I'm the same way. Even when no one's looking, I try to make the decisions that would make my people proud. The ones that I know and the ones that I don't know. I try to be like who I am through and through when people are looking, when people are not looking. In my videos, I just try to stay true to myself as best as I can, no matter how many eyeballs are looking, even if it's just none. So
yeah,
no, I get it. And it stresses me out because I put way too much stress on myself. But
I think we all put way like we're our own worst critics.
Right. I forgot a question. Yeah, dating has been
interesting.
We'll say that.
Is the culture the same though? Like, I don't know if you know much about Nashville.
I don't know. Help me out with the Nashville. Is it in Nashville?
Oh my God.
Really?
It is brutal. Tell you what, I haven't told this story on the podcast yet, so buckle up.
Oh, I'm excited.
I went on a date a couple weeks ago. No, it wasn't. It was last week. I went on a date with a guy I've known for years. We've been on dates before. It just never went anywhere. He's a nice guy. He's also in the music industry.
He's a nice guy.
Well, I thought he was. So, you know when like you're sitting somewhere and you just know somebody's talking about you? So we're sitting at the bar. We're at Mother's Ruin, one of my favorite spots in Nashville, by the way. And I see this girl and these two guys, and it's so obvious they're talking about me. And I'm like, what is going on? And they leave. I'm like, all right, whatever. Maybe it was in my head. They come back into the bar, and the girl is literally like, pretend you're the bouncer of the bar. The girl is like talking to the bouncer and like pointing at me. And I'm like, the New York was about to come out. I was about to go confront this girl and be like, what the fuck is your problem? So I'm like, whatever. And my date can tell that something is off because I'm looking, I'm very an
I was going to say, are you playing it cool? That's
I'm an eye contact person, but I'm like very clearly looking at this. So I was like, I don't know. I think those people were staring at me, whatever. So he goes to the bathroom. He pays the bill. I feel the bouncer coming over to me. I'm like, oh God, well, he's like, have you been dating this guy a long time? And I was like, oh, no. We're just like, we've been on a couple dates, like whatever. And he was like, well, I promised this girl I would tell you like he was with a date with her earlier. I was like.
In the day?
Like apparently he left their date to come pick me up for our date. But he gave me a different story. So You know, there's like those like, are we dating the same guy
Yeah,
groups?
yeah.
You know, your dating life is at an all-time low when you get posted about in the are we dating the same guy group. So this girl posted the story, and I'm telling my friend this over the weekend. I was like, yeah, like you'll never believe it. Da, 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 da. He gave me a completely different story of like their date was earlier, whatever, it went horrible. And I was like, I mean, look, you don't owe me anything, like whatever. It didn't matter. But then she was like, wait, Meg, I've heard this story. I go, what do you mean you've heard the story? She goes, he got posted, and her story is completely different. He was like 40 minutes late to their date, and like he left their date early, da 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 da. And so I messaged the girl because I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I said, what time were you guys out till? She was like 10:30. I go, he picked me up like around then.
He literally
left their date to come and pick me up, and I was just like, wow. And the amount of comments of girls being like, yeah, he showed up late to my date. He left my date early. Like, I'm canceling my date with, we're supposed to have a date for next week. I go, mind you, he told me the following week he was out of town, but he had dates booked. So, like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? Like,
Is this the most handsome guy ever? Is that?
No.
Well, we don't want to give him any credit. He's ugly, right?
I don't want to be mean. That's not very nice.
I'll be mean for you. He's ugly, right?
My friends would judge me harshly for if they saw his picture.
That was very kind of you.
Yeah, it very much like I was trying to give a nice guy a chance.
Right. That's your own. I don't feel bad for you anymore. That's your own fault. No, I'm just kidding. That does suck. Like, I'm sorry.
It's. I mean, honestly, again, podcast content. It's podcast content.
I will say, when something happens in my life, I hate that my first reaction is like, oh, this would be good.
I'm glad I'm not alone in thinking like that. But like, that's like the epitome of Nashville dating. It's like one giant, I'm going to be really vulgar here, like a giant fuck fest.
Really?
Like, so bad.
But I feel like Nashville's a big enough city to where it wouldn't be that way.
That's the problem, is how many options people have.
And they still choose the same little.
Nashville dating is atrocious. They actually say, and this is really fucking sad, that like if you move to Nashville and you don't meet your like person within the first 2 years of moving here, you're probably not going to meet them unless they move here and you meet them within their first 2 years.
Really?
Yeah. So I keep telling myself my future person has not moved here yet.
Okay, that's good. You're just like holding on to that hope of.
I'm holding on to that hope of they just haven't moved here yet.
Did you have to learn the hard way about that, or did you hear rumors or like heard people talking and then you found? I guess you did just kind of find out. If you didn't know before.
If the relationship I was in when I first moved here didn't show me anything about Nashville men, I don't know what will. But also just even since then, it's just been one giant, emotionally immature, emotionally unavailable. Oh, I really like you, but I'm not.
I've learned the other day, Peter Pan, is that what it's called?
The Peter Pan syndrome is very real in Nashville.
I learned that was the other day. I was very proud of myself.
I'm so proud of you too.
Thank you. It's men that
won't grow up.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they just want to be, like I've gone on dates with guys. They're like, yeah, like I want to settle down. I'm not ready yet. I'm like, you're in your 30s and you're balding. Oh. When are you going to settle down?
Did you say that? Did the New York come out and you say that?
No.
I'm too nice. I
just respectfully, I'm like, I think we want different things.
That's sweet. So you just, I'm sorry, buddy.
Just go the other way. Do you have, not to get too, we don't have to talk about this, but do you have dating apps in Charleston? Like, do you know what Hinge is like, or?
So I had Hinge for about 2 weeks in February.
And then you said, get me out of here.
Well, someone sent me a screenshot. It's when I only had like 8,000 or like 12,000 followers on TikTok. Someone sent me a screenshot, like a follower sent me a screenshot of my Hinge page. Like, hey, saw you on Hinge. And I was like, oh, absolutely not. So I deleted all. I haven't had dating apps.
Okay, but you know it's.
Yes, I know Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, and Raya. Yeah.
All of them are. Bleh.
Yeah.
But it makes me giggle when I'll see like a guy who's in his 30s and his searching for says short-term relationship. I'm like, buddy, grow up.
I don't get that. That's just me being a dumb guy. In our 30s and we're still looking for
booty calls.
That's crazy.
Or they can't plan a date.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
My friend Kevin, my friend Kevin and I always talk about it. So this sounds like I'm big, like I'm patting myself on the back, but it's not that. But like I said, I was for the most part raised with, just my mother, my sister and I, and she did a good job of like showing me how to treat a woman. I feel like I'm patting myself on the back. She just showed me how you treat a woman on a date and like little things. And there's been times where, like I said, my friend Kevin and I have talked about it. We're like, we'll go on a date with a woman And before, if I ask a woman on a date, I'm going to call her. I'm not going to text her, or like I make sure she doesn't open any doors, or like very little things to me.
See, I would be texting my friend like, guys, oh my God.
Yeah, like
the bar is in hell.
We realized that. Like like I said, I got a woman's number and then I called her to ask her on a date. I wasn't going to text her. And then I didn't text her when I was here. I went and knocked on her door and like had flowers and whatnot. And to me, that's like that. I don't think much of it. But then I have learned that I thought that was I sound like a pick me right now, but I'm trying not to sound like a pick me, but I truly thought like
you are not a pick me. That is not pick me behavior.
Like genuine confusion. I thought that's what we all did.
I don't think I've ever been brought flowers on a first date.
Really? Now let me hold on. Sorry. Before I don't want someone to listen to this. I've not done this every time, and I have failed time and time again of doing that. But more times than not, I have done that. But you've never been brought flowers on a. Ooh, that's tough. There's flowers right there. Yeah,
my best friend, one of my friends got me those for my birthday. It was very sweet. She showed up to the pregame with a giant bouquet of flowers. I was like, this is so
That's so sweet.
Then I started crying. I cried a lot of happy tears on my birthday this year.
That's good.
Right, Rocco?
As you should.
He was very overwhelmed.
But yeah, apparently the bars in hell we had, that's just also us being stupid gods. No, I had no idea. Mm-hmm. But I guess the Charleston dating scene, I guess I don't know. I don't have the liberty to say. I'm not like in it. I don't know.
You're not a dating influencer?
Oh my gosh. That was one of the worst things you've ever said to me. Dating influencer? Absolutely not.
He's like, all right, I'm walking out. This podcast is over.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I did not. No, I'm not. I'm not a dating influencer at all.
You okay? Do you need some water to choke out that sentence?
No, I'm good. I just like in my brain, like my future woman is just gonna come on a cloud, just like come like floating in from clouds and just like land right into my lap and just be like, I am Mrs. Cooper. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's how I just want to knock on my door with some flowers.
Yeah, just like, all right, let's do it. Yeah.
That's literally, I'm like, I hate dating apps. I don't like going out anymore. Like,
did you meet that guy from Hinge?
We originally met from Hinge, but then like over the years have run into each other for like work stuff. And
so you just run it. Is Nashville, Charleston's the same way. When I first
very facey.
I don't know what that means.
Like, you don't know what the word facey means?
No. I can lie and say I do what that means.
It's like, hang on, I need to Urban Dictionary. It's like, it's Rocco's.
I don't, is it like a?
It's like everybody knows everybody kind of thing.
Okay.
Like I don't know how, it's facey. Like it's
Sorry,
just the word.
I wanted to be cool and.
You're like a grandpa. I love it. Facey Urban Dictionary.
That's also one of my favorite sentences. I used to be so ashamed to be like, I don't know what that means. If someone says something, even if I'm part of the conversation. Hi, Rocco.
It's mostly used to describe someone who seems to be here, there, and everywhere at the same time. So it's like you're seeing the same people.
Okay. Charleston's the same way. When I first moved there, we have a minor league baseball team called the River Dogs. And I was in line. I didn't know anybody. It was like my first week or two there, or maybe a month or two. But there was people in line. Like everybody and their mama was saying hi to each other, like passing by. And Nashville's the same way. Really?
Yeah, especially as you get into certain communities, like the music industry or like the fitness community. Like
that makes sense.
Every photographer knows every photographer. Like people really do. It does. Like it's for such a big city, it does get so small so quickly.
Really?
Like it really does.
Charleston's that same way. Like there's certain clubs like we got a like pickleball club or like a run club or any of these other clubs. What are we doing? But like you do see the same faces, which isn't
it's not necessarily a bad thing, but like it
thing.
can make dating hard when you're like, I've already seen you. Can we bring back setting people up with friends? I'm so sick of dating apps. Like,
really?
I literally tell my friends, I'm like, if you think there's somebody I get along with, set me up on a blind date.
Really?
I would love a blind date.
This just may be my own thing, but I think about when I'm old and gray and like grandkids or parent or kids ask like, how did you and mom meet?
Don't want to tell them. Yeah, so I saw his picture on Hinge.
That's what I'm. Yeah,
I don't know why I'm doing a southern accent.
I was here. I was like, all right, yeah, you saw.
I was doing the southern accent.
I was here for it.
Like I saw your grandpa.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And he was shirtless and he looked fine. Like,
he was holding the fish. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, not the fish. Not the fish.
Do a ton of guys. I know that's a thing. Do a lot of guys hold.
It's like, at least make it an impressive one, not like the little baby that you got out of the stream. Like,
yeah, I gotcha.
That's hilarious. That or like, if they're every picture is shirtless or like they're pulling their pants down like really obscurely low. And I'm like,
I don't like that. I posted a workout video yesterday, me shirtless. It took me all the courage in the world to put, and it's just my back, and I had to work up all the courage. I don't know how guys do it. I was like, I don't get how guys do that.
You should see at my gym when the men take their shirts off.
They just yoked.
They're like posing and doing all the content. I'm like, can you do that somewhere else? I'm like, I am trying to work out.
Does Carbon have a posing room?
They have a posing room, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have a posing room, but that does not stop people from taking their shirts off everywhere. I'm like, you know what? Free the nip.
Yeah.
Free the nip, I guess.
Free the nip.
But not for the ladies, only for the guys.
Right.
Just course, of course. It's not that kind of gym.
Right. Oh my goodness. Do they have those in Nashville? No, I'm just kidding.
Please, all right, business idea.
You were about to say something. I was about to say.
I don't know where I was going with that.
You were about to say something insane.
Yeah, that's 9 times out of 10 insane things come out of my mouth.
That's funny.
Right, Rocco? He's being a menace. But we've talked so much today. Thank you so much for joining me. How was your first podcast experience? Are we feeling less nervous?
I'm feeling less nervous. Like I said, my heart rate has gone down quite a bit. So
okay, amazing.
But it was good. Yeah, I told you, I guess I'll tell them, but I didn't want to know hardly anything what we're going to talk about or do any research because I just want to come in this blind. I feel like that brings some authenticity. But yeah, I
didn't traumatize you.
No. I did practice in the car though. We were in the car and I got here earlier and I was like, if she asked me this question, how would I respond? So should I have said that? I don't care. But no, it was good. I'm all over the place. But yes, it was very good. I really much enjoyed it. You were a great host.
I love that so much. But before I let you go, obviously, we've talked so much about we've been all over the map with our topics, which I love. But what is something that you want people to take away from this, this episode and just your content in general, like whether it's what they've learned about you or just life in general, like what is something that you hope to bring to people through this?
Through my work or just?
Through your influencing?
Oh, that's such a good question. Wow. I guess the same thing I've been saying is, I don't know. I try to tear down the facade of social media the best I can. Try to tear down the curtain the best I can. And the reason I do that is, like I've said before, just I want people to feel seen and heard, no matter what it is. That's why I posted videos of me having $4 to my name. That's why I posted videos of me getting out of bed late at night or like at 12. And so I just feel, I never thought I would feel this way, but I feel like Spider-Man. I feel like great power comes great responsibility. Not that I'm a powerful guy, but I feel like because people listen to what I say for whatever reason, I feel like I have to put out like good into the world. And and my definition of good comes from what the Bible says. And so I feel like even a more responsibility to like show the love of Jesus without bashing the head of like, Jesus. So that's kind of...
You don't want to make people feel like they're bad because if they don't believe
absolutely
or
like
anything like that, like shoving it down their throats, essentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like a follower of Jesus through and through. And so I just want to share the love of Christ the best I can in my actions and my words, but mainly my actions of like, people ask me how I'm so happy and it's nothing I've done. It's because of Jesus. And so I would say, I want people to feel seen and heard in everything I do. I want to let them know social media is not real. Just have that constant reminder and then like show Jesus in my actions. Cause that's why I do what I do. Like the orphanage and like some other volunteering stuff that I haven't posted about. But yeah, I would say that. Yeah. That would be my answer.
And sorry, one more question, because now I just thought of it. Like, you and I talked a little bit about like my faith journey and my struggles. Like, if there's somebody listening to this or following you who maybe is struggling with their faith, like, what advice would you give to them about, improving their relationship with God, or just, how can they figure this out for themselves?
I would say just talk to Jesus. When I was younger, I had a weird relationship with God growing up, and I grew up in I don't want to say that. I viewed God as a like, not my father, but just like as a rule enforcer. I never felt the love of, not never, but I hardly ever felt the love of him. Like, this creator loves me. And it wasn't until I just started simply talking to him, like finding out more about who he is, reading about what he's done and what he says. And I used to just complicate it so much, but I would say I would talk to Jesus, because he does love you and he wants to talk to you. And I get, and we talked about it before, like, it breaks my heart that so many people have met Christians that are just horrible people and like using the term Christian to, I don't know, use it as a blanket to be a horrible person. And so
it's like almost weaponized in a sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mess up all the time, and I fail time and time again, to myself, to other people, to God. And so I don't want to sit here and be like, Rocco's getting into it. But yeah, I would say just talk to Jesus, because he does want to talk to you. He wants to know who you are. He knows who you are. And it's helped. Like I said, I don't have any kids, but my nephews, I love more than anything in this world. I want them to tell me every little detail of their days. And they're 5, 4, and 1. I want to know. I want to know everything about them. Like, if a blue crown fell on the floor and they had to crawl under the table to get it picked up, like, I want to know. Like, I love them so much. I want to hear about that. And so it's not nearly the same, but I think about like our Father. He wants to hear that too. And so I try to do my best to be very honest with him, because we're allowed to get angry and sad at God and confused. And so that's what I would say. And then also, I'm not the person to apologize for Christians, but also if someone has been hurt by Christians, it does make me sad, because I know plenty of people in my life that are not Christian that have been hurt by Christian and have just like turned away from their faith. And so we're not all bad. And like, I try to treat people as much love as possible, because Jesus did. And does. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. That's the main reason I do what I do, to show the love of Jesus without even really saying it. But that's why.
You want to let it speak for itself.
I do. And some of my favorite comments I get are like, I can feel Jesus in this video. And I don't know if it's like people, like, what's the thing? I feel Jesus in this bar. Is that the thing? Is that Pam from The Office? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
No idea. But
I just want people, even if they don't know it, like, I have the love of Jesus in my heart. I want people to see it as best as they can. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. He's going crazy right now.
I know. He took his nap.
And he is like, let's go.
This is what I mean. It's either napping or cracked out. There's no in between.
Yeah. I get it.
But thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing your heart. And, I hope people got to know you a little bit better through this episode. And for people who maybe are new to your page and new to your content, like, where can they find you on socials?
Just look up Evan Cooper. Yeah. There's one other one who's like a football coach, but he doesn't.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. I killed him. No, there can only be one. So I guess Ev Coop on Instagram, and then with Coop on TikTok. I think that's what it is.
Doesn't even know his own handle.
I don't. I think that's what it is. There's an underscore in there somewhere, but
you'll find him.
Yeah, that's
You'll find him.
I didn't look at the camera one time.
He'll be tagged in all this content, y'all.
Really, I barely looked at the camera.
It's okay.
I was locked in.
We were just talking.
Sorry, I forgot the camera's there. Hi, everybody. Am I moving the mic too much? Should we end this? Are you gonna cut this? I'm sorry.
The nerves are coming back.
They're back. They're back. I got locked into what I was saying. Now they're back.
Well, Well, thank you for joining me on this episode. I'm so excited to kick off season 4 with your episode, and just, it's going to be a good year for both of us, I think.
Yes, it is.
Hopefully you stay in touch.
I will.
Be better with your phone.
I will. Oh my goodness, I got to call my friends. You're right. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to call my friends.
But that's all for this episode of Not the Girl Next Door. Make sure wherever you're listening, you leave us a 5-star review. Share it with your friends, whatever. If you're not following the podcast on Instagram yet, it's at Not the Girl Next Door Podcast. And I will see you guys next week for another episode.
I love it. Thank you.